Hello acrobats, welcome to a special fireside Christmas edition of our Patreon lesson, and we're going to teach the Pineapple Express.
Yeah, this one is a beautiful, long, symmetrical washing machine. It's got a lot of machines in it, so you should probably do a few of those lessons first. Really important ones you should definitely cover are the 421, boomerangs, and what else? Naked singularities.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this one. We're putting together a lot of very cool, unique, sleek movements. You're going to love what you can do by the end of this lesson.
All right, let's do it.
We've covered a lot of these moves in previous Patreon lessons, and you should look through them. Oh, one we forgot to mention before was the floaty machine. It would be good if you tried all of those before you did this one, but we're still going to show a few things from each of the moves, so you're not completely without any instruction on the other moves. And then we're going to focus on the moves that are only in the Pineapple Express.
Yeah, we're going to focus on the transitions, but we're going to start at the beginning, so don't worry. The beginning starts with, we'll go this way a little more. The beginning started with what we call it a floating machine, but you might know it also as the 420. So it starts with that. And then when we get here, the most important part is he doesn't step on my other butt cheek. He goes to step to the same leg. And it's toe in, right?
Yeah, and if we're gonna do just the floaty machine, then we do this little paddle. And I'm gonna do it again so I can see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So this part it's like a big Lemois, except I have to turn my flyer and my foot much further than normal. So if it was big Lemois, I'm just here. But for 420 machine, you have to put her foot in your other hand. And then
machine.
It helps if Debbie rolls her butt onto my toes more. That gives me more rotational ability with my feet.
Yeah, so what that means is I'm not pointing towards the ground, I'm starting to roll this way, backwards.
Yeah, and you also want to hit this shape. So Debbie is a bit arched. And if this shape looks nice and it's what you have to do anyway. Next thing I have to do is I have to cross my toes in kind of an X. So my toes are in kind of in an X shape. I push the balls of my feet into the side of Debbie's leg. And then I pull my feet apart. Here, hold on a second. My feet are doing a thing like this, where I pull them apart, and that helps Debbie sit up. Okay, now we can sit up.
Yeah, so he does the pull, but he's also like pulling on my legs. So that's how I lift up. That's how I'm hands-free. And then one more important thing is the way you're grabbing my foot, because it sets us up for the very next part. It's like a foot to hand. Okay.
Yeah, my arm is straight and it's out here, so you don't want to pull in.
And I'm going to push into that hand just like I'm kind of standing up into a foot to hand, and that's how it allows me to be hands-free, just like we went over in the floating machine. So he kind of turns his grip as I go into it, and then you can see here it starts to turn to the bottom of my foot. And then right here is where I really use it. I push into that foot right here, and Jacob sweeps my legs behind me. And also at the same time, I'm pushing my hips forward, so we're both working together to be able to float. And that's why we called it floating machine, because I can do no hands because he's helping me with my foot. And then, let me say my part here. I want to just get over to this foot, and I don't go back to the first foot like we do in the floating machine. Here's where it's a little different. So I'll reach for Jacob's hand, I give him my watch, I switch side stars, and that's it. And then we're going up to star, and we're getting ready for our boomerang. And this part right here is probably the most confusing part of the whole thing. So we're gonna go over it again so we can show you the hands. Because we taught this the other day and the hands were quite confusing. Okay, so from bird?
Yeah, from bird. I grab the foot, put it in the other hand, we go up, and then I don't step here. I reach this foot through, and I have this one is doing a toe out, but I'm reaching it across so it looks like it's toe in. I'm doing toe to heel. And when you're doing this, when you're first doing this, you can hold both feet, but you're supposed to only hold just that one. I'll hold both feet for now to show you. So I turn Debbie, and I also force her to lean forward. And then I can let her top foot go.
And he has it's hard to see that step right there, but he did a really good job of putting it in the right spot because it's perfect for me to keep going this way. And he helps me steer with his arm, like practice this just a little bit.
Yeah, see how I'm holding on with my hand? That really helps.
And I'm pointing my toe, but I am pushing my foot up towards the ceiling to be able to lift my chest. So you might need to like play around with this a little bit. Really work on lifting your chest. You really have to use your back to do this little float right here. So I'm already up high, but I don't have to like reach Jacob down here. I want to stay up high with an extended arm, switch leg and grab arm at the same time. It's hand-to-hand grip, so that'll take away some of the confusion. You know, you're not gonna be reaching for reverse hand-to-hand.
Yeah, if you've done high barrel roll, which you should have by now, this is how you get up.
Well, your feet are different, but...
No, it's the same. This is the same as high barrel roll up.
Oh, you're right. Look at that. Cool.
So we're getting ahead of ourselves when you come down.
A little bit.
So let's say you're doing this from the beginning with us. This is a place where you could do the same thing we just did, but do it on the other side.
Yes, this is a good time to practice everything on both sides because we're gonna go through from the beginning all the way to the end, but practice everything because it's gonna make you do both.
We want to show you some more views.
Yeah, this is a good view for our floaty step. So Jacob does,
Another trick I do is, this is similar to a garter belt or a ballerina, where when Debbie rolls forward onto my foot, I let some weight transfer down her leg into my hand, and my elbow is in the ground, so it's not so hard for me to hold it. Just as Debbie rolls on, I hold some weight in my foot.
He's got a lot of weight because I'm not using my hands. And this is where I'm really pushing into my heel of my foot. And I'm able to lift because he's got me.
Yeah, I've got her with my hand here. And then we do this half rotisserie step.
And this part looks a little funny, but look, put your hand back. We have one foot and one hand at the same time. And for me, it's crossed. And then I'll switch to this side star and grab my second hand. And once you get good at that, it'll happen at the same time. You'll just grab hand at the same time as you're switching side stars. One more thing for flyers to focus on here is the legs. Here, start going, Jacob. And it's right after I sit up. I want to keep wide legs, and I think of my top leg like sweeping behind me, like even right here. It sweeps behind me as I dip forward. And then I'll do that paddle. And I kind of think of my leg leading it. It feels like I'm here, and then my leg is kind of making me turn around backwards. So try to think of your legs steering you.
Yeah, that movement is a reverse garter belt. I'm not sure if we've done a Patreon of that.
I don't know.
Could we do a reverse garter belt?
Yeah, this way. So I go forwards?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the same.
Yeah. There's a lot of ways to do garter belts. This one is pretty easy. I'm not sure if we made a Patreon, but you should try this.
And it's the same thing. Look, my leg. Oh, do one more. This is really off the subject, but my leg sweeps behind me just the same, and Jacob's feet are even doing the same step. So think about that as you do your floaty steps. Really, like, it helps you to keep the movement going.
All right, boomerangs. We've made a Patreon of this, but I'm still gonna talk some through it.
Let's show them how we get there.
Oh, sure.
So it starts with our floating machine.
I'm holding the foot, grab this hand, grab the top hand, and now we're set up to go up to the top. Now this, I've seen lots of ways to do this wrong, so I'm really particular. I want to set you up to make this look nice. So this is one wrong way to do it. So if Debbie's head is down low, then I can't even put my foot on her shoulder. She's down too low.
Yeah, sometimes flyers are like, I'm helping, but really you're not. So try to like give them some room, some clearance.
Yeah, you want the flyer's chest to be up, and then you want them to look at the sky or the ceiling past their arm, and you want them to be stretched out. Look how pretty this shape is. Her legs are straight, toes are pointed, legs are wide. She has this differential twist. She has a slight spinal twist where her chest is twisted more than her hips.
I'm getting ready to lift this leg with me, so I don't leave it down here waiting. As I'm twisting up to the ceiling, I'm also lifting my leg in anticipation of like stacking onto my shoulder.
Another thing Debbie does is as she squares her chest to the ceiling, she rolls her butt onto my toes more. And that makes it look nicer. It helps me set up to do this next step. So then you get foot on shoulder, and then see how I kept my leg low as she did that? And then if you want to, you can rest here, but you're not supposed to. I reach my foot across Debbie's face, and then we're gonna lower down slowly. And we end up in a side star. And then if we're gonna do this over and over again, we go into the same position we were just a second ago. Grab the top hand, turn this hand around. You wanna say what you're doing?
Yeah, let's just go through it a little quicker. Lifting my shoulder up so he can reach. And then like Jacob already said, I'm looking at the ceiling, I'm lifting my leg. The most important thing I think is keeping my legs going. Like I keep doing that little straddle. And then when I come down, I'm thinking of landing on my side. So I don't look at the ground, I don't square my hips down. I really think of landing like this, stacked. And then we want to show you how it comes out of the boomerang. So you saw how it went in. It was like this, right? Inside. I think this is how we go up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got it. I'm thinking like a base.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we come down to an inside reverse. Okay, so we have to let one hand go, right? And then next, Jacob steers me so that I can look over his face, so face over face. And then I do hand to hand, and I switch this hand so I'm ready to roll.
Yeah, and this next step is like a step from a naked singularity, except it's goofy. And that means it's a bit harder to reach. I have to lower Debbie down further before I can do the step. But it's not bad, and we realized a minute ago that it's very similar to a rotisserie. So we can practice this by doing a rotisserie with Debbie perpendicular to me.
Mm-hmm.
We can do a couple of these.
Oh, and we're ready to go again.
Yeah. So the only difference is like this is a rotisserie, and the goofy naked singularity is like this with face over face more. And to make this look good, you've got to the flyer has to keep their chest up, well, or as much as they can, given the circumstances. And then I have to bend down really far. And then all the turns happen with my legs in my chest. And then I can step, do another one.
This is how we just start over again. We do one more step and then we can roll again.
One of my pet peeves is when bases do this. They bring their foot down and they're like, oh, I need balance. But you can't do that. You have to always leave your feet up here, ready to do the next step.
Okay, so Jacob's ready, and what I do is pushing into hands as I roll, but also I want to look the way I'm rolling, and I want to point my foot down the whole time. I'm thinking of my leg is pointing towards the floor, and that's how I roll into Jacob's toes. And then as I'm rolling, I'm pushing my arms up straight. I also want to show you guys which side stars we're doing so you can remember. It's an inside reverse. And then that sets us up to do our roll. And then Jacob made up one more little step so we can get back to it again. One more rotisserie. So you can come down or you can just do that. Also, we want you guys to do this on both sides. Practice this weird transition Also practice your boomerangs, so it's an inside reverse. And when I find his hand, I look at Jacob's face.
Now you can see Debbie from the other way.
And then look at my top leg is what I'm thinking about. I'm pointing it down the whole time as I roll. If you practice rotisseries first, that'll get you really good at this too. Awesome.
There's only one more step, and then we're at the beginning, and then you can do the other side.
Oh yeah, we are. We're almost at the end. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll show you how that all goes together.
Yeah, why don't we recap? We'll start bird.
All right. Okay, we're gonna do our good side first. So it's our floating machine.
Floating machine.
I sweep my leg behind me. We switch to our other side star at the same time as we find our hand-to-hand grip. I keep my legs swiveling as we do our boomerang. And then it's face over face as we roll. And then here's the last step. One more rotisserie. And now we're gonna do the
Now we're on the other
side.
side, because you can imagine we started in bird,
Oh yeah.
and now, so we first started this way, and now we're over here.
Yeah,
And-
so now it does the whole thing on the other side.
And when things are on, everything on the other side is harder. People always start their good side first, so this could be a hard part for you if you're just starting.
So this is the floaty part. I roll, and then I sweep my leg behind me, pushing into my foot, and then we do this little paddle.
Yeah, and it helps if you hold foot and hand at the same time for a second.
Yeah, it does.
I step, and then I let go when I can't hold on to it anymore.
That way you've got some points of contact. Okay, then we're doing our boomerang. And then I reach over the top. Some people might be like, where is it? But you can look, just look across your face and reach. And then you can roll your hand at the same time as you roll. And then one more rotisserie, and now it's the whole thing over again.
And now it's the other side, the side we started with. You want to keep going?
Yeah. I got lost. I'm like, wait, where am I? Did we do it all? Okay.
Well, that's the whole thing. And this might seem short, but you could go back and do the previous Patreon lessons, and there's a lot more detail. We mainly wanted to be this lesson to be about the transitions in between and how you put them together. We're also going to show some more angles. This looks really cool from my perspective.
It does.
So I'm going to put a camera down here, pointed up, and then you can see close up what I do with my hands and feet. Well, that's our lesson.
Yeah, we hope that you like this style of long, flowy, symmetrical side star stuff.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite things to do. I remember years ago learning washing machines, and I had this vision that I would be able to make a washing machine just like this one. And now we can, and we can teach it to you.
Yay!
All right.
Let us know how you like it.
Yep, see you next time.